This is the 5-star tip of the day. Do not use stainless fasteners in your Jeep. Do not. You know why? If you ever mess with stainless fasteners, they gald to each other. I would rather have rust. Put anti-seize on. If you're going to use stainless, put anti-seize on it just like you would regular steel. I fought with these 2 bolts in the motor mount for I don't know how long because they started galding. You can't get impact in there. You can't get a ratchet in there. I can't even get my cutoff wheel in there. So yeah, I was a little heated. All right, that's my tip for the day. You guys ever had the problem where you having a hard time walking on your own feet without somebody else stepping on your feet or running into you every time you move? That guy right there. He has clung to me like a dryer sheet. That's my boy. All right, all seriousness here, we got a project to do. Right over there, we gotta take that guy and go get that guy. Yep, that's going to be our new project right now. Oh, sit up there. I just hosed this thing off. The Wasp. I got my Wasp Killer 1000 on. Yeah, I found a nest under the hood. So that's great. We're gonna go over here, hook up to the Jeep, and hopefully drag it around and sit it in this region right here. Get the old power washer on it. Get some leaves and debris out of it. Hey, it's gonna, and hopefully get the Wasp out. We're gonna get her pulled in here and see if we can't make that thing run something. We got a lot of work ahead of us, so let's get to it. Yeah, we got it rigged up that way. Chain, not a good recovery point on front of this, so we're gonna do the best we can. Should we lower the suspension? Yeah, I don't know. Let's just leave it like that. All right, that's up. We need an extra strap here somehow. That's a long one. Will it reach? Reach something. About a short one. Let's try that short one. Oh, forgot about the hole in the ground. How about we just go through the fair lead? That ought to be strong enough, you think? Nope, probably not. That might keep it from wobbling around. That going there, we're gonna have to make a tight turn. Hopefully we make it. What are you doing, Ranger? He might be catching the spicy flies. The old Wasp. Better be careful, they're gonna get you. All right, I'm gonna get loaded up here. You guys let me know when something's going wrong back here. I can't see all that well. Can we make the turn? Oh, not like that. Tires rubbing. Leaf spring. Jeep. Back here, Jeep. I know we're not going to make that turn over there, so we better pick her up. That's down. About that. rear view mirror. I have one. Just got to glue it on. I even got the glue. Is anybody coming down the road? Not right now. Whoop. It's just me. Damn. Well, we made it there. We are in front of the barn. Man. Well, Harry's squatting. Huh. Well, I'll be damned. What are you barking at, silly? All right. Get her dropped off here. Into a remote. You live there for a minute. Well, that'll work. You're there. Now, you gotta try to weasel this dog out of here. I think I left myself enough room. And we'll get her back over to the barn. All right, give me a second. Boy, that's a good looking rig right there, huh? Wow. Well, nothing but to just get to it now. What can we drag out of here? Save us. Oh my. Should we? Leaf blower might be the first in line of defense here. Yeah. Once them leaves get wet, they're hard to pick up. All right, let me get my gloves and all that. I might pull it forward just to tickle to get it right in that area. Yeah, I got the Jeep washed up a little bit. The leaves blowed out of it, pressure washed. Got the junk out of it. There wasn't too much junk. The transmission cross member, transmission floor cover, and one dry shaft, and miscellaneous bolts and hood latch hold downs. There wasn't much in it. Tires did not have any air in them. They were totally flat, but true swamper fashion, they are pretty stiff, so it holds the Jeep up. Put some air in them. We'll see how long it holds. They all four have tubes in them. Date code on the tires was to 2013 or 2003, sorry. So they're 23 years old. Further investigation, I got underneath it, looking around. Rear end feels tight. I do want to pick the rear end up, get the tires off the ground with the jack, spin it, and see if I can tell if it has a locker in it, and count the revolutions and see what the gear ratio might be. I was told it was 411s with a locker in the back. There's not a locker in the front, and I suspect that front differential is wore out. Everything in it, excuse me, because the yoke is very loose, like the pinion bearings are junk, and there is probably 200 thousandths of backlash in it. But I'm trying to stay positive here. They had the battery cables running into the cab, so you had to put the battery in the floorboard, and then you had this mess going in here, and as soon as I touched the battery to it, there is a cutoff switch. This cable just fell plumb off of it. It was rotten. And I fixed that, put a different cable on it with the terminal, put the battery back on, and just flipping switches to see what did what. And the old, the last thing you want to see is smoke, and that's what we seen. So we had to hurry up and undo the battery. So what I've done is brought the battery out here, got it on an approved battery stand, put it straight to the solenoid, battery cable to there, redid the ground, got it to the battery to the block, just temporary stuff just to get it to crank over, see if it'll fire. And looking through all the rest of the wiring underneath the dash, there is not one fuse in this whole thing, so that was cool. Burn it straight to the ground. Then there was no ground from the engine to the body anywhere, so I put a temporary ground on that. So we're going to try put a little fuel down the carburetor, and I've got ignition wired. We're going to go with the alligator clip up to the power side of the solenoid and see if it cranks over, and we'll throw a little fuel down the carburetor. If it doesn't fire, we'll inspect and see why. So let's do that. All right. Got our power lead hooked up here. That's hooked up. Ground's hooked up. Got our starter switch. She cranks. Let's put a little splash of fuel in it. Oh. Let's see what that does. Uh-oh. The old solenoid is stuck. Perfect. Isn't that great? Well, works now. Had to hit it. It's not a very good starter or solenoid. You can tell when your starter is getting ready to go out. The Bendix isn't going out all the way, because every time the motor fires, it still needs to crank another revolution, and it kicks that starter right back. That was a loud motorcycle. What a piece of junk. Why are you not firing now? Oh my God. Is it pumping fuel? Nope. There's no fuel in the tank. I'm not worried about it pumping up anything from it. I looked down in it. God, that sounds terrible. Fine unit. Let's keep trying, huh? It wants to do something. She's getting oil pressure. I can see the oil gauge tube filling up with oil. I wonder if I have another starter over there in the barn. I bet I do. Ah, well, we'll keep messing with it. She wants it. She wants to run. I don't know anything about that carburetor. It looks new. Oh. Do not touch the vacuum plugs. They are like dust. That one just fell right off. Better keep my solenoid whacker tool handy. All right, let's try something different here. Turn the ignition off. Try to put some in the fuel bowl. I don't know if I actually put it in the fuel bowl. It's hard to see on this unit. I don't know where the fuel bowl vent is. I squirted it in a hole. Let's see if we catch it on fire. May have to start taking it apart to see what's going on in there. That's not the fuel bowl. It's squirting out of the top where I put it in. That must be like a vacuum. It's going to where the PCV is supposed to be. Crankcase breather, whatnot. Come on. I don't think the idle's, oh my. That ground lead is pretty warm. Probably because it's not meant for a ground, it's for an amplifier. Not big enough gauge. Oh my. Yeah, kick out every time. Let's find that fuel bowl vent. Why don't we? I put it in here earlier, but evidently that's not a vent. We'll take this off. It might be over here in this tube. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Give me a second. Three little screws. Plate. This doodabby. Oh, that is... I don't know what that is. I don't know. Yeah. Get in here and look at it with me. I've never messed with one of these. I don't even know what brand of carburetor it is. Look at the mess of mechanical crap in this thing. I don't know. I put gas in this area here. That is not where it needs to go. I think it needs to go here where this mud is. So yeah, that's not going to work. I don't believe that's supposed to have mud in it. And that would be from a mud dauber. So yeah, it's down inside there, and it looks like your metering rods are underneath there too. I don't know, this little lever, this tube went to the top, this tube went to that nipple, and that nipple is operated by this little flapper doodad. Way too much going on there. No wonder everybody ditches these junk. Question now is, do you pull the whole carburetor off, or you just pull the top off? And it's got 13 levers hooked to it. Woof. Yeah. That's why I always put a 2-barrel Ford on these. Got a little adapter, boom, bolts on there. Throw that 2-barrel on there. And I actually have an adapter plate, and I have a good Motorcraft 2-barrel to put on here. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Let's see what it takes to get these levers off. And we can just pull this top off and clean this, see what's going on in there. I think I'll do that. Just see what it's all about. Well, that was a ton of work. Got that top off. You do have to take all the levers off because let's see where to put, your metering rods and accelerator pump come in from the bottom, or come from the top, go down to the bottom. So you got to pull it straight up. So you have to take all those rods out, and all them rods do is one activates your accelerator pump mechanism, and the other two are for your choke. But I don't know if you guys can see, but I cleaned it already a little bit. That is full of, it looked like cottage cheese when it was wet. It had yellow or red fuel in it. Soaked all that out of there, and then it was all white stuff, and I couldn't get this gasket off without mangling it, because it's right around this deal here, and I don't want to rip it right there. So I left it on, pulled the float assembly up out of it, and the bottoms of the floats are white. All that stuff there is white, and your floats control your needle and seat is in the inlet of the carb. What is that? Terrible design, but I sprayed down the jets, and it comes out your whatever those things are called, Venturis. Yeah, comes out of there. They're clear. I blew everything out the best I can. I don't want to take it all the way off and fiddle with all the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to attempt put all that back together and try to get this top on there, and try to get them metering rods back in the jets. That's going to be a headache. But I think after that we can be able to fill the float bowls and get this thing to run on its own. I think that's my hopes. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna get back to it. Well, I fumbled around and got that carburetor back together, and these metering rods were a pain in the butt to get in there. Had a fiddle, finally got them. And they are adjustable. Hopefully I got that back where it needs to be. All this is working now. I got fuel. These are your vent for your fuel bowl. Filled them up. I left the choke lever off over there so it doesn't close it all the time. Replaced 3 of the vacuum hoses, and I didn't have another one to fit our vacuum caps, not hoses, dummy. This one doesn't fit, so I did the right thing and put a zip tie on it, close it down. These are the ones that were on it, and they are cracked up like a chicken head. And you can see my fingers are black now. So hopefully we don't have vacuum leaks. So we've got fuel bowls filled. I'm going to leave this top cover off for now, so we can put more fuel in it. And we're gonna crank it over and see if we can make some more noises, good or bad. Hook up our ignition. Starter switch engaged. I wish I could reach over there and get the throttle. Come on. She wants it. Man, it's almost like the timing's way off. Very well could be. Let's check it. Okay, we'll check it. Number one. Oh my. Oh, let me get some toolage. Get this plug out and the cap off. See where top dead center is. I got number one on top dead center, compression stroke, and plug out. Looks new, can't read anything by that. Tractor driving by yet again. Trying to film here, people. Rotor is pointing. That direction is just past top dead center. And let's see, where do you want to live at? Should be right there. Right? Where do you lock down at? That little tab goes in that hole. There's a tab right there. Lock in. Come on. I need two hands, people. These wires, my goodness. Short. Okay. These wires are all messed up. Okay, we got the cap down. Let's lock it down. One. Which way you going? Lock this down and check our firing order. It's got 5 racing wires on it and 1 not racing wire. Yellows and blacks. Okay, we know this one was number 1. Our rotor was pointing this way, so we're right. We're dropped in right. Our firing order is 153. 1. Can you see that? 1, 5, and 3 is here. 6. Okay. 2. Uh-oh. 2 and 4 are backwards. 2 and 4 are backwards. That is an issue. Okay. Found our problem. Let's get this plug back in. And we'll get those 2 wires in the right spot. And one of them looks to be a little bit too short. So that's great. I don't know why they have we did have an extra wire in the floorboard. Maybe it'll be the right one. Let me go find it. Figured out why this wire was in the floorboard. Somebody had pulled the end out of it. There's no clip in it. So we're gonna have to go on a hunt for a longer spark plug wire because number 2 will not reach from here to here. So let me go to the barn. I got another 6-cylinder over there, or any wire will work, but matter of fact, the ones off a Jeep 6-cylinder are different. Had to use one off Ford. Hopefully it works. It's only 87 feet too long. Works better than the XL ones. Guarantee you that. That's what these are. XL. Sure, that distributor is not. That is going to be a eBay or Amazon special. All right, let's see what happens now when we got the firing order right. And let's put a little more fuel in the bowl. Give her a little squirt. Get in there. Get in there. All right, what have we got now? Nothing. Oh, dummy. You got to hook up the distributor wiring. Now, I had to take it off because you can't get that cap all the way off the rotor without removing the wiring. Now, let's see. It makes a difference. Yeah. Don't forget, we got open headers, and they're not just open headers. They are zoomy headers. Remember? Somebody did a little choppy chop. I'd like to have a conversation with that guy. Why you would need to do that. Man. All right. Let's try a little more fuel. She idled. Probably should check the oil in it before we did before we did that. I'm pretty sure I'd checked it at some point. Oh yeah, we're good. It's good and clean. Let's do this again. She does run. Cool. I don't know how well, but she does run. That was my goal for this evening. It's hard to hear if it has any knocking or ticking or anything, but with that exhaust the way that it is, but it sounded like it's doing the thing. I'd like for it to run long enough I can check the oil pressure gauge. Oh, I did got my transmission mount installed. I raised that tranny up, and because there's no mount under there, and I hooked it to the really nice roll cage. So let me put a little fuel back in it, fire it up, and we'll check out that gauge real quick. Come on, little devil. Well, now it's going to show its ass. How about that drink? Drink up. almost 50. Not bad. Not bad. 50's pretty good for idling 258. All right. All right, good deal. What time is it? Oh, a little past my sit down time. I did eat supper. Wifey brought home some fried chicken. Pretty good. She brought home a pie too, so that's on my mind, telling me to go inside and gain some more weight. She knows how to get to my heart. Brings home food and dessert. So yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with her. What are we gonna do next? What are we gonna do next? Are we gonna put the transmission crossmember in? That's pretty much impossible because all the bolts are broke off in the frame. We will have to do some fabricating on that. I'd really like to see what the differentials look like as well. I think that front end is going to be junk. Rear end might have a chance of being something there. I don't know if this thing's going to be worth trying to get going or try to part it out or just stick it in the woods. I don't know. It's got a lot of cons, a lot of negatives going on with this thing. So anyway, it does run. Motor's good as far as I can tell. Good enough. We'll figure out what we're going to do tomorrow. Get a little time for my brain to spin around what we want to do for the rest of it. But for this evening, we're going to hang it up for now and unhook this battery so we don't burn the shop down. All right, we'll see you. Good morning, everybody. Out here on the old Jeep again. It's the next day. Got the rear end jacked up and checking out to see what we got here. And we do have some sort of a locker. Both tires are turning the same direction. And I went ahead and marked the yoke on the rear end with a white paint marker. And I marked the tire with the same paint marker. And I rolled it around one tire revolution. Let's see, I went the other way, but the yoke was marked there, tire was marked here. Once I got it around to here, yoke spun 3 times, and then get the tire marked back to where I started, it was right there. And the yoke spun another half time. So that means it has 354 gears in it, because that's the ratio that was factory. You had, and I know this is a 70s model frame body. They always came with 354s, or some of them might have had 373s. If it was a 4-cylinder, it had 411s, but 6-cylinder, most commonly 354s. So it does not have low gears in it like I was told, which you can always pretty much guarantee that it's somebody tells you that. Most of the time, it's not true. Especially if it's been traded hands here and there, and oh yeah, I've totally rebuilt the motors and don't have the receipts for it. You know how the story goes. So we're gonna lower this back down, jack out of it, and I'm gonna pull the rear differential cover off and see what it does have in it for a locker. Now, my guess is, ratty and beat up as this thing is, I bet it's got a Lincoln locker in it. Could be wrong. Could be a lunchbox locker. Could be something more substantial. They did spend money to put Yukon axles in it. But I would like to pull the rear diff and the front diff today to see how bad this front differential is going to be. I bet it's full of muddy water and the bearings are shot. Rear end's probably the same, but I want to dig in and find out. Say bye, Mom. Going to my garden. Well, boys and girls, just like I expected, rear diff cover is off, full of rust particles. The oil looked really good in it. And like I said, Lincoln locker. And then we got some rust pitting, and that's where all that rust particles comes from, is sitting around and condensating. And all these rust particles fall down in there, and then everything that's above the oil is what rust. And they did weld it with a looks like a stainless rod, which is fine, but man, the splatter is real. Real. And then let's just throw whatever bolts we have laying in the bucket back in it from whatever, and then on top of that, let's throw this metric bolt in and just ruin the threads and make sure they're actually an inch too long, because these normally have a Torx headed bolt in them, which I know they suck because they rust and get shit crammed in them, and then you can't get the bolt out. But I can understand why they did it. But man, their hardware choice wasn't very good. And these are hard to silicone back on because they have that lip there meant for the gasket. But Red RTV, that's what we're going to do. That's what they did anyway. So I want to jack it up again and verify the gear ratio by spinning the tires around and see the numbers on the teeth, and see if it's actually, it'll actually may tell us what year this is too. A lot of times they'll have a date on them, a build date, and then we'll jump to the front end and see how bad that is. And the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm thinking it's going to be a part out deal. I don't believe I'm going to waste my time to get this thing running and driving, because I will have to put so much into it to get it to actually drive around. It's confirmed rear gears 1139 is the teeth count, and that is a 354. Could not find a date on it, but here we are on the front end. I pulled the diff cover off. Surprise, surprise. Come look at this with me. Got the diff cover off. That doesn't look good. And the only thing that came out of the diff was water. We got a little bit of sludge in the very bottom. But yeah, that's pretty yummy. Pretty yummy stuff. Let me show you the other surprises in here. I'm gonna have to gotta turn the white yoke on here. Get the light back, come on. Uh-oh, what we have here. Looky. Teeth gone. More water. More teeth gone. You can hear that. That is the pinion gear moving up and down. The center pin in here, stand up there. Do not fall in the oil. The center pin is moving inside the carrier. It is not welded, not a locker. And spider gears, they're there. Man, everything is just totally wiped out. Let's see if we can find, oh gosh, date code on this gear set. I'm assuming this Jeep's going to be a 77, 8, or 9. That's not a date. There's the ring gear count, I think. 4613. Do we have a different gear set? 615.77. So this is either 78 or 77. I'm sure these gears have seen a hard life. Let's get the old, man, my light is covered in goo. What was that number again? You guys remember? 4613. Let's do some math on that real quick. Without, oh, I don't have my phone on me. Hang on. Yeah, I just did the math, and it is the same gear ratio. It's 353, same thing. So, you know, if that center chunk looks that bad, you know the outer U-joints, you know, they're going to be shot. Wheel bearings, spindle bearings, all that's going to be junk. And the rotors, they're there. They might be savable. But ball joints, ain't nobody ever took care of this thing. So, yeah, that's not a good thing. Yeah, I decided to pull parts off this thing. Start to get everything unhooked. I've already got a couple things on Marketplace. We're going to be pulling the grill. I'll probably save it in the radiator and the hood. We'll try to sell the motor. Probably save the transmission transfer case. I have the fuel tank out, and I was wrong. It is not dry. It had fuel or something like fuel, but you can see most of it was water, and some of that, there was other, I pulled out more, but I've drained this since then, but that some of this is fuel, and you can see the water in the bottom of it. But that tank has a step down in it, and when you're looking at here at the cap, you can't see the step down. Anyway, it had a lot of water in it, and this is not the way you want to vent your gas tank. This was underneath the floor, and you couldn't even see this, and it was full of water. All this was just full of leaves and mud and dirt, and that's all rusted. That thing is probably just a big pile of junk. But I did get that out, so. And I've saved a few little doodads here for myself. The little gauge cluster, homemade thing, couple gauges there, switches, save that. And the 2 shocks off the rear, I saved those. And on the last video, I talked about this Jeep. They had these shocks mounted this way, and that is incorrect. It shows you right there, it says top. They have to be mounted this way. On a charged shock like this, they have to be mounted in a certain direction, or the valving won't be right. Your oil will be on the wrong side of the valve. So, not like it matters anyway. This thing probably rides terrible. But I'm going to continue stripping some parts, and that'll be later. It is Father's Day. I'm going to go hang out with my dad. Then I'm going to go hang out with my daughter. So you guys have a good one. Made my decision on this Jeep, whatever you want to call this hunk of junk. Made a decision to part it out. Too far gone. Too dangerous. Frame, body, roll cage. I was told you at the beginning I was thinking about getting it going, move it down the road. Nope. I am not selling this, or I wouldn't even give it to somebody because I would be afraid that they would hurt themselves or others. So I've been out here dismantling a lot of stuff. I'll save a few things for myself. A lot of the stuff I will list, try to sell, recoup a little bit of money off of it. Got the engine chained up to the hoist, getting ready to pull it and the transmission transfer case all in one. I'm going to attempt to pull this motor and trans out without hurting myself or anybody else or my buddy. Old Wiggle Butt. Had a little bit of rust around the top of the transmission. And the gears got a little rust on the shift shaft, a little bit on the gears. Don't know how bad it is. We ought to pull the plug on it. Should have done that while I was under the Jeep, but got in a hurry. And this is a T150 and a Dana 20 transfer, and they share oil, 90 weight, whatever you put in there. They share. So if that's got water, the other one's got water, vice versa. But I want to sell as a complete unit because I'm not going to pull it apart. And if somebody wants to hear it run, all we have to do is have a battery and a couple cables. And I've got solenoid still on there, and we'll hook a little power wire to the HEI, a little gas down the carburetor, and it should do the thing. Somebody wants to hear it. Take pictures of it, and I'm going to put it online. So there's that. And next thing will be steering box, steering column, brake master, the distribution valve. Take these lines off, and probably going to pull the tires and wheels, and then the axles. Probably just leave the springs on them. Try to bust them bolts out. Fingers crossed on that. And there's my stainless bolt that I was cussing earlier. Straight into the scrap pile. Never use that again. What else? Anybody want anything off this? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Yeah, it's pretty much junk. Frame is angle iron from here-ish all the way back. Levels of angle iron and angle iron cross brace in there. And just gobs of weld and boogers, and nope, not here. It's going to the scrapyard. I will cut it up, put it on a trailer, and get it out of here. And I've got everything good I can out of that. It is bad. Oh well. Uh-oh. Garage looks a little different. Oh, there's a piece. There's a piece. A couple more out there, and a big ugly one right there. Ugly. Gonna slice and dice the frame off. Slice this cage out of here. And then hopefully it's light enough the tractor can pick it up. Right now it won't pick the whole thing up by itself or all together like this. So we are gonna do a little slicing. Done got the rear end over in the barn. Tires up for sale. Motor's up for sale and the transmission transfer, but I think I've already got those sold. Somebody local looking to get some of that stuff, so good for them. Might help them out and get a couple bucks in my pocket and crap out of my way.